Okay, somebody wants me to talk about the latest disease, the coronavirus, or they renamed it to something else. Okay, what do you really mean? What are the issues here? Primarily, it is your fear of dying. Cutting to the chase. Your fear of dying is what this is all about. And why are you afraid of dying? It's because you have a great fear of the unknown and great fear that uh, dying is horrible and what happens after dying is even more horrible. So you have a great fear of horrible. What if someone in my family gets this and they die, like my child? That's really horrible. And you're insensitive to even bring it up that somehow that I'm somehow there's something wrong with me in fearing for the safety of my family member. It's never your interest in anything but prolonging life in the body. Oh, pardon me, I must be catching a virus. I, um, I don't want to talk about anything other than your fear. What runs a lot of people on the planet is exactly that: fear. So that is the whole issue about everything that we do, basically about everything. At the back of our minds, maybe we bury it, but what it is, it's a huge thing called fear. What do you want to do about your fear? Well, the first thing that you need to do is understand you can never really escape death. Show me anybody you know um, who hasn't had a member of their family die on them. That's the whole point. Everyone dies in their physical form. And so the fear is number one, I'm gonna die. And number two, it's gonna be horrible. Which of the two things is doesn't matter. It's all fear. What's the truth? For you, the truth is fear. The truth, there's nothing beyond the fear. That's what drives you. That's what drives you to go search all over town for one of those masks, the special masks, you know, so that I don't catch this thing. It's what makes you, basically, your whole life is all about fear. It's like I'm eating the wrong food, so I'm, going to buy $30 vitamin C. You gotta live with knowing this physicality is gonna die because everyone's does. So it's more of an acceptance. I accept that one day this physical thing is gonna die. And I accept that there's a possibility it might be horrible. Either the lead up to the death is horrible, or actually dying is horrible, or whatever comes after dying is horrible. So I've got to accept the unknown factor. But acceptance is not fear. Acceptance on the scale of human consciousness is way higher vibration than fear. All the same, I still want to take these protective measures because, you know, well, that's what people do, and I can't convince them otherwise. I can say, go and use Google and look up the scale of human consciousness, and read about what the different levels of consciousness mean. Come to an understanding of that. I mean, that would help your vibration. It would help dissipate your fear. That's about all I want to tell you. You gotta get. Why am I shaking my head? It's because it doesn't really matter. At the back of everyone's little monkey mind is busy work. I gotta appear to be busy in front of my boss, or even he's not there in case he walks in on me because I'm gonna get in trouble. So a lot of the things we do is just because if I look like I'm busy, even if it's not accomplishing anything, it's better than appearing to be sitting back as a lazy person. So I'm just going to go busy. I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive all around town, buy vitamins, buy masks. I'm going to buy Lysol wipes that I can wipe down everything. And I'm going to hound my children into washing their hands 12 times a day. And, if anybody in my community gets, this is just what the way fear runs you. What could you be doing if you weren't being run by fear? You could be institutionalized because you didn't get vaccines for everything that's available. How far? Well, I think it's pretty close. I think it's pretty close that the state is going to say to you, if you don't want to bring your children in to get vaccinated, we're going to take your children away from you, get them vaccinated, and you're going to have some time spent in the cooler because you're going to do it our way. This is the Big Brother society that you support. I know, but I don't want people wandering around my city that haven't been vaccinated because So you have a lot of people that feel this way, and there's no argument in the world that is going to change the fact they're being run by their fear. And the people who aren't run by fear, are basically looking at people who are about to horsewhip them into doing what the fear says to do. So, do we have any freedom on our planet? No, there's no freedom. Even when you personally come to acceptance of, basic rules of humanity, you're born and then you die. If you come to acceptance of that and you stop letting that fear run you, well, all the other neighbors that didn't do the inner work are going to come looking for you. Is there a better way to live? Oh, yes. Yes. Even Churchill, Winston Churchill, the British Prime Minister in the Second World War, said, "There's nothing to fear but fear itself." We're also highly conditioned by the media that, the next whatever it is. I mean, every time there's a commercial at the supper hour, it's a big pharmaceutical company selling a drug using fear. That's why they're so profitable. Invest in big pharma. I mean, a lot of us kick them because they jack up the prices so high, things like insulin. But, they're very good at using fear to sell their products at a very high price. And people buy them at a very high price. So invest. Someone still wants to know, but is there a better way? Well, could be. Are you willing to try something new? Because that's another level of consciousness on the scale of human consciousness. Willingness. Courage is also another one. But fear is really a low vibration. And if you're being run by fear, you're going to have some work to do to get your vibration up to acceptance or willingness or courage. So why do it? Because if you don't, you're never going to advance your consciousness into something that is basically your birthright, has been taken away by the world you were born into, which is run on fear. You learned fear here on planet Earth. You learned it. It's a learned behavior. So you need to unlearn fear. If you don't unlearn fear, then what's going to happen is you're going to reincarnate on planet Earth in the same scenario you're in now. Fear. You can't get away from it until you deal with it. No one else can fix it for you because you are an individualized bit of thing. And I can't come in and, fix you, raise your vibration for you. At any, temporarily, if you're around me, my aura will help you, make you feel better. But as soon as you leave the presence of my aura, you're back to where you were before. The only way you're going to be able to fix your aura permanently is you're going to have to do the inner work. 7 billion humans on this planet individually have got to do the work. And what's the work? Facing fear. Learning from people who have mastered fear. Do you ever really master fear? Yes, you do. But it's just words to you until you've done it yourself. Sorry. Did I have to master? Oh, yes, I had to do it. I had to do it. And sometimes I still feel fear, and then I try and figure out what is it, because for me, it's pretty much not my fear. It's coming from somewhere else, and then it's a bit of work to figure out if I can source it and send it away, or if I'm going to transmute this feeling of fear because I can do it. Not me, my little monkey mind, but my my I don't even know what it is, but it just happens. It's not pleasant, but I can transmute it. When I say I, it's like, the whole body, mind, soul thing does it. It's not pleasant. But, fear is not pleasant. But if you're ever going to really advance your consciousness, what's the purpose of life on here? Is it just to come back life after life and be run around by fear? That's what's going to happen if you don't deal with it in this lifetime. There's nobody who's going to issue you a pass. You learned fear, you have to unlearn it. I don't have too much else to say about fear, except if everyone in your family is run by fear over diseases, transmittable diseases, you are going to become really good at understanding people. There's an old story that says, well, it's pretty easy to go to the Himalayan mountains and go to a cave and meditate and become, a high vibration, enlightened being. But take that same person off the Himalayan mountains and drop them back in the house with their family that they grew up with. That's when you really know if someone is a high vibrational, enlightened being. Because it's not the same. If you're dealing with real, living human beings who are at various levels on the scale of consciousness, and it's not always the same every day, that's when you know whether you're a master or not. How do you mean? I mean, if you can live with the family that never went up to the Himalayas and never did the meditation and never became a high vibration person, if you can live with them, you have to hold. Oh yeah, you got to hold your vibration. It doesn't mean you just go back to the way they are, run by fear. No, you got to hold your vibration, and you also have to live day to day with people who are not like you at all. They're like a foreign species. They're not even the same kind of person that you are. Then you can say, I'm a master because I live with these people. Do I live with these kind of people? I do. I do. I do. I don't live, in some tower in San Francisco, eating sushi every night, living all by myself or with my high vibration friends. I live with the people that are in my biological family, and they are run pretty much by fear. How do I keep my vibration? Truth be told, I don't spend a lot of time with them, but I'm with them pretty much every day. Am I a master? I don't think you ever really become a master because the world keeps changing. And therefore, it's always a new scenario. Somebody always wants to ask me, it's my friend King Clancy, how do you like Groundhog Day? Because you pretty much live the same kind of day over and over again. It's always new, even though quite often there's the similar people in it, similar locations, and similar activities. It's pretty much new moment to moment. What's not new? Pretty much the things I told you. Same people, same physical locations, It's sort of the same kind of things that we talk about. So you're a master. No, no, because what does it mean? Um, I have a lot of illusions that I still need to dispel. I bought a lot of books over the years about changing reality. In other words, putting me in a nice tall condominium tower in San Francisco where I eat sushi every night with beautiful people or something. I still have to dispel these illusions. Don't you want to have? Oh, well, that's part of the illusion that you can have all these different things because that's what you're conditioned to believe by Hollywood TV, etc., etc., and some people in your community who live very wealthy lifestyles. And some people say, well, you can use these things that I teach you so that you can also be rich and famous. So, to dispel the illusion, I'm really on no path to rich and famous. Shouldn't you be? That's what the world tells you. What does my inner silence tell me? Pretty much moment to moment, nothing at all. That's your talk.